Welcome back to Lenz's Doctor Who review, episode number 48, where we are at the halfway point of the Black Guardian trilogy, Terminus, which is on this DVD right here. That one in the middle. Now, this one in particular is known for one particular thing, the story. It is the final on-screen appearance in the classic Doctor Who of Nyssa. I believe she's mentioned a few times afterwards, but never seen again. Not on screen anyway. She will return after this in audio dramas. Yep, the actress herself would actually reprise the role. Yes. I'm trying to see here. Yeah. The actor said to leave this point in time for reasons. Let's see. So, maybe she took time off because she can't parent? It's possible. The actress herself was only about 24 when she left. It's something she looked like she was a teenager at the time. Yeah, and Turlo basically... The thing starts off with the TARDIS crew. Well, we have Turlo just wandering about. The Black Guardian is talking to him, trying to sabotage TARDIS. But then Tegan, who's looking for him. Yes, Tegan is calling for him. Yeah, I think it is very nagging, this ep1. So, then she's taken to his room, which is, this is a kid's room, and Tegan's like, this was Adric's room. Yes, Adric's room. And there's a bit of a nod to some of the character here. Now, here's the fun fact about the actor who played Adric, Matthew Waterhouse. The guy never returned to play Adric ever again. Nope. I have heard that the reason why he left the show, I have heard the reason why he never came back because the actor himself was not popular. Well, the character was not popular with people, so he's just tried to stay as far away as possible. Well, he never returned on screen anyways. Yes, but he did appear. Looked like he did appear in some audio dramas. Yes. Yeah, but not sure exactly. Now, is it listed exactly why he left the show per se? Not really. I don't know exactly what was the reason why he left the show. Though it could be because basically fans didn't like him very much. I have heard also a thing with Adric. He's compared to Doctor Who's version of Wesley Crusher, despite the fact when he first showed up, that was 3 years before Wesley Crusher ever did. He was just a smart aleck kid who basically think he knew everything. He was know-it-all. People don't like that about him. So, Turlo sneaks out of his room to go to, of all places, the TARDIS control room to sabotage it. The reason? Because the Black Guardian really wants to kill a doctor because he's bitter to the doctor for losing the King of Time. Yeah, he's still bitter about that. Now here's the thing. The doctor is not in the Black Guardian's back. He has no idea at this point in time. He'll find out next story about that. So, then they end up on, and then all of a sudden, this is really weird though. We see Nyssa's room, and all of a sudden then we said the place up warping. And then another door in her room pops up with a skull mark on it. And they go on a spaceship like, wait, 2 stories in a row and they call it a spaceship? It's Doctor Who, what do you expect? And it appears like nobody's on board. Now, like the last one was a luxurious and nice looking ship. This looks like a ship that was very run down. And it turns out this is a leper ship. You think, wait, a leper ship in the future? Yes, and going to a place called Terminus. And it's explained by a guy who went freaking nuts here that anybody goes there does not return. And they claim, oh yeah, there's a cure, but the cure is a lie. It's a bit mishandled here. By the way, the writer of this one is Stephen Gallagher. That's who writes this one. So, oh yeah, and at the end, I think it was part two, or I think it was part two, where a doctor gets strangled by one of the characters who turns to be a good guy. Excuse me. And it also happens where people at Terminus wear these armor. The reason? Radiation. Now, this is an area called the Forbidden Zone. Why is it forbidden? Heavy radiation. That's what they claim anyways. And one guy named Bohr went to go check it, and didn't come back until later on the story, and his face is partially burnt. And it looked like, his face is burned. He's having such a sort of memory loss. The doctor and Kari go there to check on it. Now, her friend basically claims his sister basically went this and never came back. So they go exploring the ship. The ship itself looks like it could have been like a reuse, something from a different sci-fi movie per se. And then they go into the Forbidden Zone. The doctor said, "Go there, no problem." Is he hebriated? He checks for radiation field. It's not as bad as they claim it to be. And it turns out this one thing is basically about to explode. And there's a story behind that. So then they go to what appears to be the bridge of Terminus. Yes, the bridge of Terminus. Well, more importantly, the control room. And they find the pilot. That was mentioned by Bohr, that the pilot is dead. So, and there's also this guy called the Grom. This big guy looked like a wolf. And they claim that, the whole thing was a cure. And there's a signal box that controls him. Don't get destroyed at the end of the story. It just seems as though we have some stuff going here. And we have stuff with Turlo. Turlo is like, okay, so him and Tegan are hiding in grates the whole story. And they're far away from what's going on with the Doctor. I mean, they have no idea what's going on in Terminus. All they have decided to do is get back to TARDIS. And by the way, when they open this door, go on this ship, and then the door disappears, and then the door goes back out the TARDIS, which makes this the first story where you have the companions leave the TARDIS not via the regular TARDIS door. And you're thinking, that's strange. Has this happened before in Doctor Who? This is probably the first I can think of this has ever happened at this point in time. Well, this would happen again. Not in any of these incarnations per se. I think like the next time this happened was probably during the events of Bad Wolf during New Who. Yes. So also at the start of the story, Nyssa has got less clothing than usual. Yeah, where she's down to a skirt. And then halfway into the story, she randomly takes off her skirt. Oh, and here's the rumor about this story I should mention before I continue. Apparently, from what I heard about this story, originally, the alien supposed to be in this story was going to be the Ice Warriors. I'm not kidding about that. From what I've heard, the Ice Warriors was supposed to come back in the story, but was changed this Terminus stuff. Yeah, you're thinking 20th anniversary, you don't bring back the Ice Warriors for this one? Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. So she's infected with whatever virus these people are infected with, and people who run the place, these guards, apparently don't care. And apparently he's not guards, he's an actual slave. So it turns out the guy who's with them, he knows about martial arts, and the guy with long hair, he has desires for leadership, and eventually by the end of the story he does succeed because he captures the intruders like he said he would. And of course the intruders were punished for intruding on their stuff. Yes, so we do look like it was brief. Here's the strange thing though. Tegan does not go on to Terminus. Nope, never does. Just a Doctor and Nyssa. Yep, and then they find out what the first explosion they mentioned. Apparently, there's this unstable fuel on board Terminus, and the explosion that started apparently started Event 1, aka the Big Bang. And apparently this guy is from a different universe. What universe is he from? They don't explain. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if they actually explain this character's backstory in a novel or an audio drama or even a comic book. Because stuff like this would do that. So basically, you can almost kind of think of basically finding this guy is similar to the space jockey from Alien. It's very similar to that, except this guy's a lot smaller than the space jockey. So then looks like another explosion would happen. They cause the Graham to basically come along, use a single box, and they, in exchange for, he gets to smash it, which he does. And I think, of course, Nyssa stays there to help stabilize the cure for everybody, so everyone go home. Yeah. I get the reason why they had Nyssa at this point. Now, sometimes when they had companions leave, usually for random reasons, this seems like a very good reason why she left. I mean, she's smart, and she can use her skills to basically help these people. Fine. Now, I would still like to know why she left. At least in the case of the original actress who played Ramona, at least she had a reason why. But in the case of why she left, maybe she felt as though it was time. I'm not sure. But she was here for like about 3 full seasons. She was in 2 stories in season 18. Most of season 19, though. In the story Conda, she's in the first and last parts of the thing. Yeah, and though it could be maybe the reason why the actress left, and this is just my personal theory on the matter, I think she got tired of the trope of, oh, we have nothing else to do, shove her off the TARDIS for a whole story. Yes. She probably got frustrated with like half the time you get virtually nothing to do. So I guess we're basically in the second story of the Blackguard trilogy. She leaves, but we introduce new companions to sort of replace her in a way. I mean, and this was a story that hinted that fans basically decided to ship Nyssa and Tegan together as a lesbian couple. Yes, seriously. And I do appreciate that the guy who tried to kill Doctor, however, this sort of did change his ways, and well, try to change Terminus. The former leader steps down. Of course, the guy was Dick anyways. He didn't do anything like, oh, I'm gonna stay here and do nothing except sit on my freaking butt all day. Yeah, for a leader, the guy does nothing. Yeah, and having the other guy take over basically was a smart move. Oh yeah, and here's the thing. They do mention how the company controls them. They had this drug. Now you're thinking, wait, a drug controls them. Sounds like a Gemini from Deep Space Nine. It kind of does, except this predates the Gemini's debut by almost 10 years. And I highly doubt the creators of Deep Space Nine had this in mind when they created the Gemini. I mean, heck, it's the same type of thing. Little tube in this suit they're wearing, and basically keeps them alive. Similar how the Ketracel White was in Deep Space Nine. It's just very similar to that, except the tube looks different. That one has it's curved. That one. This one's a bit straighter, and it's green liquid. Excuse me. Compare the Ketracel White, where it was white liquid and looked like freaking cocaine. So it's like, wow, we're basically, like, if you've seen Star Trek and you watch Doctor, you're like, wow, we are seeing stuff so similar we see in Star Trek. Now, the one way to disapprove the fact of any kind of familiarity between Doctor Who and Star Trek, where Star Trek, basically from Next Generation onwards, tend to rip up some plot elements from Doctor Who. Case in point, the Borg from Star Trek Next Generation, and the Cybermen from Doctor Who. Okay, now, a lot of people have claimed this over the years. I have to basically say it again about this. I have talked to the creator of the Borg about this, Melinda Slugrass. And according to her, the whole thing with the Cybermen being inspiration to, or where they're like, they use as the, oh yeah, let's just rip up the Cybermen from Doctor Who for the Borg. According to her, never came to mind. They never thought of that at all. And that's according to one of the scriptwriters who wrote Next Generation. Yes, one of them. Now, I have never met anybody who worked on Deep Space Nine. Never have. I would love to. I would love to basically ask the question, hey, did you rip off Ketchell's wife from Terminus? Because it's a very similar idea. A drug controls people from a higher power, and then they kind of cut it off by creating their own. And this is a similar idea that I did see in another episode of Deep Space Nine, except they create their own. They just try to cut them off from it. So yeah, it's like, you can say that Terminus basically, you can see similarities, yes, but it's not exactly a ripoff. That's just my thing on the matter. In the case of the story itself, it's actually quite interesting. Though, the weakness of the story is Tegan and Turlough. Negan and Turlough don't really do anything at all in this whole story. I mean, Turlough, a guy who's supposed to be trying to kill a doctor in this story arc, and he does do anything at all. Taking a black army basically was like, you're basically useless. And he punished him by basically trying to kill him. The apparently looks like the white crystal he got from the previous story looks like exploded, and then of course he's going to be still around, but don't worry, he'll be gone by the next story. But I do like the fact Nyssa got a chance something to do. The Doctor, he got a good amount to do. It's his show. I do like the fact kind of the supporting cast got something to do, which is nice. But the story itself, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10. The only flaw I have with the story is the fact that Tegan got virtually almost nothing to do with the whole story, except just lie around, just basically just walk around, just shot at stuff. You could say she was here to look hot. That's just how I think of it when I see this. I mean, yeah, Jenna Flanding, the actress who plays Tegan at the time must be a very beautiful woman. No, she's much older now. She's basically about 70 now. Yeah, she looked like at the time, looked like she was a very beautiful. She was very, very attractive at this point in time. Yeah. And at least that, unlike, let's say, with Perry, where the reason why she was created was because the show was popular in Australia. So they cast an Australian actress to play an Australian character. And then they kind of did the same thing with Perry, except they cast a British actress to play American. Which makes no freaking sense at all. But I'll talk about Perry when I get to her debut. Okay, so that's episode review. Next up, we do a couple comic corners, and it's on to One Piece. And then after One Piece, it'll be a review for the new chapter of Black Clover. Actually, 2 new chapters of Black Clover, which I'm looking forward to discussing these both. And after One Piece, it'll be Demon Slayer and Eden Zero. And maybe if I get time to, I might do the final part of the Black Iron Trilogy, which is Enlightenment. This I'm looking forward to discussing. Okay, thanks for you. Bye.